Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm going to take you through this Yin Yoga practice. It's a full body sequence that's really meant for lazy days. So if you've been depleted, maybe a little bit stressed and anxious, or if you've just been overextending yourself in general, this class is really an invitation to refill your own cup, to put your own well-being first, to make yourself a priority, and to give yourself this permission to slow down and rest deeply. So really suitable for all levels. We're not going to be doing poses that are too strenuous or too deep in nature. This is meant to be relaxing and comfortable. So a full body yoga practice, great for all levels. You'll notice I am using my bolster. If you don't have a bolster, don't worry. You can always grab 2 blocks if that's something that you have at home. But honestly, even better is to just reach for some couch cushions, grab a couple of those, or just grab like a bunch of bed pillows. You want to have flexibility to be able to stack pillows on top of one another. You can even have blankets that you stack one on top of the other. Just so you have something to work with, but don't worry if you don't have this exact prop. So we are focusing on ourselves. Let's begin lying down on our backs. So reclined butterfly pose combined with supported fish. With a bolster, I'm putting it more towards my mid-back and then supporting upper back and supporting the back of the head. And you could choose to just do this pose with your legs straight out in front of you, or you could do the supported fish version, or reclined butterfly version, by bringing the soles of your feet together to touch and letting your knees fall open. And if you're working with blocks, you can put one block between your shoulder blades and the other block underneath your head. And if you're using a combination of blankets and pillows, just stack them up so that it's comfortable. We're really not pushing in this class. We're trying to get super comfortable in every pose. Because again, the intention here is to rest deeply, to slow down, to rejuvenate, and to fill our own cups. So can you relax your facial muscles and find a comfortable rhythm of breath that goes in and out through your nose. And we're using this practice as a way to inquire what it is that we need. So if you have been feeling depleted, if you've been giving too much, what is it that you need to find balance once more? And I'm going to stay in silence here in the pose so that you can really be with yourself and really begin that inquiry. You know, asking yourself, what do I need? We'll be here for a few minutes and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. We're going to stay in this pose for 10 more breaths. If you'd like, maybe reach your arms up overhead so that you're inviting a gentle opening through your shoulders, your arms, and your chest. You can have your arms straight or you can bend at your elbows. Really, again, focus on your needs, what feels good to you. And breathing deeply here. Noticing where there might be tension. Stretching out through your arms. You can use your hands to support the back of your head as you tuck your chin to your chest, and we're going to come up to take a seat. So use your arms to support yourself up here. Take your time. And whatever feels nice here to release this pose, maybe dropping the knees, windshield wiper motion from side to side. We'll be coming into a seated forward fold next, and I'll let you choose. Again, I really want to focus on choice in this class. I want you to, prioritize yourself again and get in touch with your needs. So I want to try to give you a lot of options. So any seated forward fold that you'd like. You could keep your feet together, knees apart, and fold from here. You can do a straight-legged forward fold. Knees can definitely be a little bit bent here as you fold in. You can also open your legs out to the side. So either of those three would be great. And I'm going to use my bolster for this one as well. I'm going to do my legs straight out in front of me. So these yin style forward folds are meant to be really passive, meaning let yourself round and relax into it. Let gravity do the work for you. And really use as much support as you need. You don't have to have blocks, bolsters, or pillows underneath your forehead like what I'm doing here. You could just let gravity do the work for you and just kind of dangle in space. Again, it's your choice. Focus on what feels really nourishing and supportive for you in this moment. Forward folds are really a wonderful way to activate and tap into our parasympathetic nervous system, this rest and digest part of the nervous system. It kind of sends signals to your brain and to your body that we can let go, we can slow down, we can rest. So try to relax every muscle. Get a little bit heavier every time you exhale. And again, I'll stop talking. We're here for a few minutes. And I'll let you know when it's time to ease out. Staying for 10 more breaths. Notice if any tension has started creeping up through your arms, your shoulders, your neck. Let it go and feel your breath go all the way down to your lower belly and lower back. And you can push your hands either into your bolster or into the floor to start rolling up, coming out of this forward fold, nice and slow, staying present here to the experience. And before we go into our next Yin Yoga pose, we are going to take a seated twist. I do like to do twists after forward folds. It's a great way to further release the lower back. So bring your legs out in front of you, and you're going to bend your right knee, cross your right foot over the top of your thigh, really push down into your big toe here. You can hug that thigh in towards your belly, lift the crown of your head up, and then rotate over to the right. My right hand is kind of pushing into the floor to keep my spine straight. My left arm is pulling my right thigh to my belly. Not holding too long here, just a few more breaths. Keep trying to lift and lengthen, pushing into your big right toe. And let's release. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. So bend your left knee. Left foot crosses over your right thigh. Sit up tall, and you can hug your left thigh to your belly as you twist open to the left. Try not to slouch or round. Breathe deeply. And let's release. Let's move into child's pose. You can do this with or without your props. So again, just choosing and adapting what works for you. Big toes come together, knees go as wide as you would like them to be. So we're not chasing sensation here. And then folding forward, you can either do this with the support of your prop, or you can just do the regular version of child's pose, where we're bringing our forehead down to the mat, or maybe just up onto your palms. And if you're using your props for this one, you can either have your forehead directly down on the bolster. For me, that's not comfortable. I like to just turn one ear. So turning one ear to the bolster. If you're doing it that way at home, I'll let you know when we're halfway through, and then you can turn the opposite ear to your bolster, just so we're staying and keeping things even. So take your time to get there. Again, lots of option. Choose what works. And you can play around with the placement of your bolster as well. Just breathing here. Giving yourself this permission to relax, to do less. No pressure, no expectation, no judgment. If you had one ear to your prop, just switch. So you have the other ear now down on the bolster or your block or your pillow. So we're about halfway through. And really keep asking yourself, what do I need? Why am I so depleted? What brought me out of balance? And how can I come back to myself, come back to my center? How can I replenish my energy levels? And let's lift ourselves back up. Take your time. And if you have a bolster, you can just switch it so that you have it the other way. And we're going to lower down onto our backs with the prop underneath our hips. So I actually find it easier to first sit on the bolster and then lower down. Other people prefer to lower down and then slide the bolster or the block underneath, whatever you'd like. But just make sure you have your hips really grounded here so that your hips end up being higher. So there's a gentle inversion. Shoulder blades in the back of your head come down in contact with the floor. And we're going to take a little thigh stretch from here. You can pull your right knee in towards your belly and straighten your left leg. So opening through the front of our left thigh. Maybe closing your eyes so you're focusing inward and just holding here. And in order, or I should say before we go to the second side, see if you can also bring your left knee in towards your chest and just squeeze yourself in here. This might not be appropriate, like if you feel like you can't breathe, obviously don't do this one. Instead, you can stretch your legs up towards the ceiling and do this waterfall variation. I know for me, this feels quite nice to have this tight compression into the chest, but it's not for everyone. So do what feels the best for you. Just about 10 breaths or so here before we switch sides and find our thigh stretch with the other leg. And then your left knee will stay in towards your chest, and you can straighten your right leg out. And I'm letting my right knee bend. It doesn't need to be perfectly straight. I'm letting my heel drop towards the ground. Making this easy and simple. Always checking in with those facial muscles. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or frowning, or really just doing anything. It's pretty common. Also relax through your shoulders and your neck, staying present with the rhythm of your breath here. And again here, to release the pose, you can bring that right thigh into your belly. And maybe you just want to work on this little inverted child's pose, keeping your knees in towards your chest. Or for the second time around, I'm going to do this waterfall option, just letting my legs float up. 10 breaths in whichever option you're choosing to do. Inversions can be really grounding. And if you had your legs up like what I'm doing here, you can slowly come back down. And we won't be needing our bolster or our props for this next pose. We're going to take a laying twist. I'm just going to shift and kind of push my bolster towards the bottom of my mat so that I can have my feet flat to the floor. And you can open up your arms into a little cactus shape. Go ahead and move your hips a little to the right and then drop both knees and thighs over to the left. Keep pushing your right shoulder into the floor. And I like to use my left hand just to kind of encourage my right thigh to stay where it is. So we're creating space along the side body, also stretching a little bit through that outer right hip and through the right side of our lower back. And you can adjust here any way that you need. let's release the side. You can float your knees back up through to center and just pause. Feet go wide, let your knees fall in, and maybe just rest your hands on your lower belly, or you can stretch your arms up overhead. Take a few breaths here, noticing the effects of that twist. And we'll be setting ourselves up for the same pose on the other side. So you can move your hips a little bit over towards the left side of your mat, and then let both knees and thighs drop over to the right, maybe using your right hand to encourage that left knee and thigh to stay down. Try to push or just kind of gently guide that left shoulder blade to stay anchored on the floor so it's not completely lifted off the mat. Collarbones facing up. And holding here. And let's ease out of the twist. And once more, feet wide, knees together. Either rest your hands on your belly or reach your arms up overhead, whatever feels good. Just for a few moments to integrate the pose and to help process it. It's a way of making sure we're not rushing, not chasing the next thing. Trying to practice patience and mindfulness. And we will be coming into Savasana next, this final relaxation pose. I'm going to do it with my bolster under the knees. So if you have one, you can certainly use it in that fashion. You can do this with blocks, or you can just have your legs straight out. Taking up some space with your arms, shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears, palms facing up to the sky. This is our last pose of total surrender. It is a pose that is really the embodiment of rest. And it's important not to skip Savasana in any practice. Again, Savasana is the pose that teaches us patience, that teaches us the value of resting, of doing less, of really doing nothing, and simply being present with ourselves. And being open to whatever is coming through you right now, whatever insight or message, any teaching or wisdom. A few minutes here. We'll reawaken very slowly. First with deeper breaths, and then with little movements through your fingers and toes, letting those movements get bigger and bigger. Maybe stretching your arms up overhead, getting really long. And you can turn to one side, take a little fetal pose. Just pausing here. Again, not rushing to the next thing. And when you feel ready, you can join me by taking a comfortable seat. Sitting up tall. Let's bring our hands together at the heart. Observing how you feel now, as opposed to when you first stepped on your mat. And we'll close our class together with the chant of Om. Let's inhale to chant. Breathe in deeply. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this very laid back Yin Yoga practice with me. I would love to know how this one went for you. Please do leave me a comment before you go. Please subscribe to my channel if you don't already, and hopefully I'll be practicing again with you very soon. Thank you again.